Hey everyone, it's me. I thought I'd make another video because I'm feeling kind of cute today. Anyway, I just want to talk about parental alienation and really how to survive it. And kids that do this to their parents, I just know that for the alienated parents and for the children that alienate from their parents, I want to let you know there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And what I see a lot of parents doing is a lot of us who love our children obviously make them a priority. They're more we put them before ourselves, and it's just the way it is, and we shouldn't feel guilty for doing that. But there comes a point in time when you become an alienated parent that, and this has been going on for 10 years for me. So I have been there, I've done that, and I've been talked to people, I've cried, and this and that. And it wasn't until I grabbed a hold of myself, I took my own shoulders and I shook myself. I said, you got to wake up. You got to wake up. It's time to, accept what is. And what are you going to do with the what is now? And the what is now is, what am I going to do to find joy in my life, joy and purpose and meaning? Because it's gone. It's gone. Where did it go? My children walked out. I was a mom. That was my identity. Whatever the case is, what do? I need somewhere to put everything I did to invest in my children. Where do I put it now? Where does it go? Like my thoughts, feelings, emotions, happiness, sadness, everything revolved around my kids and their existence in my life. And they chose to leave. They chose to disconnect, and there is no communication today. I've gotten, whatever the case is, I'm not going to say what I've gotten. I'm going to stick to what I want to talk about. So I had to find myself again. And initially, after I accepted it and I started to get busy and I talked to people and I went through the healing process and all that, I realized it was a gift. I was able to revamp myself and to start a new life as a new person. I don't know. It's kind of like, it's hard. I'm not trying to be harsh to say it's a gift, but when you realize it's a gift and you realize you've been given a second chance, especially I was only 40, so, and I was still working full time, and all of a sudden I come home and there's an empty house. And what am I going to do? Who do I talk to? Who do I spend time with? Who do I talk to before I go to sleep? Where am I going to put my focus? So I realized I had a clean slate. And what am I going to do? I'm going to look at it as it's a buffet. And I'm going to fill my buffet up with new things. So it's going to be, I'm going to go see concerts. And I am going to start crocheting, and I'm going to do some artwork, and I'm going to go out with friends. And when I buy a bottle of wine, I'll have a glass of wine when I get home, and I'll take a bath. And I had to start filling up my buffet with different things in each tray so that I wouldn't be as lonely. I wouldn't be as sad. I wouldn't be as whatever. So I started to do all of that. And then eventually I stopped being so lonely. I stopped being so sad, and I replaced my sadness with joy in a positive way. I didn't turn to drugs. I didn't turn to alcohol. One thing I turned to was, just eBay collecting, you know, uh, meeting interesting people, going to estate sales. Did a lot of research on the little things I'd find, and I found, a new group of people to hang out with, and I eventually started to find my joy again. Yeah, it's been 10 years. And it's not that I don't think about my daughters, because I do. It's like every day you think about them, because that was half of my entire life, was raising my children. I had them when I was 20, and then I raised them until I had them until I was 40. So that was half of my life. So it's not that you don't think about them, but the pain gets less, the sadness gets less. sadness and pain revolve around mostly like Mother's Day, or when your friend has a daughter who has, she has grandchildren and you don't see her. So that's when the pain kind of revolves mostly. But when you learn how to fill up your life with joy and something new, you realize that life doesn't have to end when your children are not a part of your life. A lot of times, when I meet new people, or I'm at the dog park, or would join groups, I you know, I try not to get into it too much. I don't really discuss my kids a whole lot because there's really nothing much to say at this point because they're not with me. So I try to avoid topics of conversation that where people may ask deeper questions. I just say, my adult daughters, they live in, don't live too far. I see them, whatever. So I usually don't bring it up because not a lot of people understand this plight. There are a lot of parents who are alienated, but not a lot that I know of at this point. But I just know when I meet other parents who are recently going through what I went through 10 years ago, I understand their pain. I understand their sadness. I understand their tears. And I understand their separation anxiety and lack of sleep. I understand it. But when you deal with any type of trial in a situation like this, you either it will make or break you. You can either get up and say, I'm going to survive this. I'm gonna walk through this fire. I'm gonna get through it, and I will get through it, and I will eventually see that light at the end of the tunnel, or it will sink you. And I'm just letting you know, you cannot allow another individual, whether it's your child, a parent, a sibling, anyone, to sink you and control the rest of your life and steal your joy. You can't allow that to happen. So all I know is that I had to get up, I had to do what I had to do, I had to find my joy, and I had to move on. And it's not that I don't miss my kids, and it's not that I stopped loving them, it's that I started loving myself more. And now, if they were to come back, I would be open to it if I was in a safe space, but I would absolutely say that we can proceed under if we can have a healthy relationship and set healthy boundaries with one another. And if we can't do that, it's best that we don't reconnect. So you have to be strong enough to set boundaries and say no if they are not willing to do whatever it takes to make sure that both people involved, you and them, are going to be better off having a relationship together than if you choose to part ways. So, anyways, the relationships we have throughout our lives, at any time, anyone can break free from them. Sometimes we don't get a reason, sometimes we don't get an answer. The lack of answers, I think, are the hardest thing when you're dealing with other people who say, why don't your kids talk to you? And if you don't have the answers, it's hard. So the best thing is to avoid asking. If that person wants to share, that's fine. But I'm just one of many people who are going through this. And all I know is I came out through the other end. I'm not saying my days aren't sad, but they're less sad than they were before. And that's just the way it is. So anyways, I hope everyone has a great day, and we'll talk with you soon. Bye-bye.